So nice. Empty 3 hours a day to stay profitable. There was no time for routine maintenance. You couldn't just shut it down.
Today I really want to see you swirl.
Technologically speaking. One of which is sitting right behind us. This right here is called a dredge. And dredge mining could replace 1,000 miners a day with the amount of gold that it could pull up. It might look like a big old building, but it's actually a pontoon boat that floats on a river, on a lake of its own creation. Now we look here, we see that line. That's what we call the bucket line. And that is where the dredge will dig. It'll dig up the earth all around it. And it sends it up into what's called the trommel room. A trommel is a big old cylinder that spins around, agitates the dirt and the stones. And as the trommel proceeds downward, the holes get smaller and smaller and smaller, letting out those beautiful gold nuggets and stones the same size, ready for the picking into what's called the money pit. Now only one person on the dredge had keys to that money pit, and it was the captain. Once a week they would go through, collect all those nuggets, start paying people out with them. Some of the folks they had to pay were those who worked out in areas like this, known as the thaw fields. You see, up here in the Klondike, the weather ain't all that friendly. The ground can be frozen year-round with a layer of what's called permafrost. That can be feet and feet and feet thick. So, early prospectors, well, they'd do what they could to get through the permafrost, and they'd just light a fire. Let it keep burning. But that would only move through the permafrost inches at a time. We created things like a steam point. Pretty much a furnace, which is hooked up to these hoses, sending boiling, scalding water into the earth to melt through the permafrost. I said there'd be men working the thaw fields, and this is what I meant. It was an incredibly dangerous job, though, folks. You see, these were shoddily built, to say the least, when put together in a rush, and occasionally these hoses come unhooked, sending scalding water out into the air and into the bodies and faces of these men working the thaw fields. But times were hard, and this job paid. Paid pennies a day, but it paid. So there was plenty of prospectors ready to hop on and work the thaw fields. Eventually, we realized that you didn't need scalding water to melt through the permafrost. You just needed water a little above freezing. That would do the same job. So eventually these thaw fields went to colder water and made the job much, much safer. Once you get the ground thawed, up and, as I said, sends it to the trommel. Now, do I have any welders in the group? Any amateur welders? Nope. Oh well. So nice. Anyone's eye can see that. They're a little ratty, a little hastily done. Well, that's because the dredge had to run 23 hours a day to stay profitable. There was no time for routine maintenance. You couldn't just shut it down. So if one of these buckets broke, well, the welder would hop on the bottom, grab his torch, and ride up the conveyor belt the whole way while welding, hoping to be done by the time that belt hit the top. Otherwise, he's going into the trommel. Innovation came along with this, the world's largest super soaker. Represents some of the damage that the gold. Now I say damaged because these water cannons were incredibly damaging to the environment and were eventually outlawed via multiple environmental controls.
Well, let's take a guess. Yes, the earth, the ground, the dirt, jewelry stores, absolutely. And before that, millions of years ago when the earth was forming, meteors containing all sorts of elements and metals, including gold, came crashing down onto the molten surface, and they melted, and the heavy elements sank down to the core. But luckily, volcanic activity brought them right back up to the surface, where they hardened into deposits, and then the rain came and eroded those deposits, scattering the gold into small pieces into the rivers. So that is why we look for gold in riverbeds. And that is why gold is found in such small pieces. But sometimes a miner will get lucky and find bigger ones, like these gold nuggets. Now, gold nuggets are very rare. Only about 0.1% of all gold found is in the form of a nugget. The rest, those real small flakes. And when a miner finds a nugget, they don't even want to smelt it down, because this, in its natural state, is the best investment that a prospector can have. So to do that, we're going to need the right equipment. We are going to need something called a poke. Now, a poke, that's just a word for a container that is used to stash your gold. So a poke could be a leather pouch or a jar. And in this case, we're providing you with something from the distant past. Film canisters. Now you are also going to need a gold pan. And in that pan, you have got your pay dirt. Now, pay dirt, that is just a fancy word for dirt that hopefully has got some gold in it. And your job as miners is just to wash away that dirt that's between you and your gold. So to do that, we're just gonna follow a simple scientific process. So first, we're going to scoop up some water into our pan, and then we are going to start shaking, not up and down, but folks, we're gonna shake side to side. And that way, we get all of that dirt moving, and the gold is going to sink to the bottom. And why is that?
Heavier.
Exactly, gold is heavy. It's about 19 times heavier than water, 7 to 9 times heavier than anything else in your pan. So, after you've shaken it flat for a bit, we're gonna change tactics. We're gonna hold our pans at an angle, and then shake some more. And that way the gold is sinking down. So we wanna get all of this dirt into the corner. And where's the corner of a round pan? There isn't one. So pick any side and get everything down there, because with the gold at the bottom, we're ready to move on to the next step, to wash some of this dirt out of our way. And we are going to do that by dunking our pans. We'll bring it into the water all the way under, and then bring it up, and we're just letting the water's current pull some of those rocks out. Just like that. Now, after you've dunked a couple times, you're gonna wanna scoop up some water, and then can you guess, you're gonna shake it again. That way the gold is safe at the bottom, and when you dunk, you're just washing the top layer of dirt out. So, you are going to repeat this process. You are going to dunk, and then to make sure that gold's not going anywhere, you're gonna scoop up some water and you're gonna shake. So, we will dunk and shake and dunk and shake. But we are not going to dunk and shake at the same time. Otherwise, we could lose our gold. So dunking and shaking are two different steps. They're two different steps, sir. Excellent. So, with that all done, you want to get to a small amount of dirt just like this. And then we are going to give it one final shake. So all the gold will be in one place right down here at the bottom of all that dirt. And now we're ready for the fun part of panning. That is a methodical and precise swirl. So when we do the swirl, we're gonna hold our pans so we have the dirt at the top and the water down there at the bottom. And we are gonna use our wrists to swirl the water around in circles, one wave at a time, sort of like waves on a nice sandy beach. Doesn't that sound nice today? So you'll bring it around just like that. All right, now the swirl can be tricky to remember. So to help you all, today we are not just going to be panning and swirling with our hands. We're going to use our whole anatomy. So folks, today I really want to see you swirl. All right, do it with me. I'm not seeing you swirling. You got to remember, swirl. Oh, you folks are going to find lots of gold. And so, with that swirl finished, you reveal the gold at the top of your pan, just like that. All right, and yes, it is all real gold, about 22 carats, the purest gold that you're going to find in nature. But I should tell you, I only found this much because I'm something of a professional, but things don't always pan out that way, and your results may vary.
Let's go.
So, with your gold revealed, then comes the part that you are all most excited for, collecting that gold. So to do that, you are going to need a dry finger. So you can dry your hands off on your shirt or on a fellow passenger shirt. Or if you don't want to ruin those fancy clothes, we do have towels provided for you. So with that dry finger and with your poke, you're going to press the gold to your finger and then tap it into that poke. Now this is important. You don't want to scrape it or you might fling your gold away and you'll lose it forever. So you will tap it in, and then to make sure it's safely in there, you close that poke and listen for a click. Did you hear that? Yeah. Let me do it so you folks over here can hear it too. Click! And then give it a shake, listen to that gold rattle, and you will take that gold up to the assayer's office, and an assayer is going to weigh it out for you and tell you how much it's worth. We'll see if we can pay for our cruises, huh? So, those are the basics of gold panning. All right, now before we get our hands dirty, let's do a quick review. So first, we are going to start by scooping up water into our pans and shaking. We get all of those rocks moving, and then we're gonna hold our pans at an angle and shake some more, exactly. And once we've got it all into one side of the pan, we are going to dunk and shake and dunk and shake, but not at the same time. They are two different steps. Absolutely. And so, with a small amount of dirt, what is the next step? The swirl, that's right. And so with our gold revealed, we will take a dry finger, press it to that gold, tap it into our pokes, close it, listen for the click, give it a shake, head on up to the assayer's office. They will weigh it, tell you how much it's worth, and then you'll be on your way with the rest of your tour and have a great vacation. Whew. Okay, I think you're all ready. So,